Here, how do you explain the evidence of advanced construction technology employed in the Great Pyramid and elsewhere?
Well, I'll focus on the Great Pyramid and the Giza construction. There is a lot of unexplained elements that we have to face, and the most difficult ones is the lifting of blocks. I mean, if we can find explanations for these, then we can solve these kind of problems. Now, one of the main problems is the size of blocks involved. We're dealing with the Sphinx temple, for example, where blocks are in the region between 50 and 150 tons, some of them going much higher to 200 tons. Now, the confines of the Sphinx temple is very, very tight. So in order to move blocks in that very confined area, I cannot see how one can use the kind of primitive conditions that is traditionally allocated to the pyramid builders. The difficulties is, for example, the number of men that you need to move these size of blocks. A very quick calculation shows that taking the friction of the soil and the maximum angle of ramp to move a 150-ton block, you would need in the region of about 800 men towing at the same time at precisely the same traction force. Now, assuming that you would have 4 rows of men with a distance of approximately 1.5 meters away, you're talking about lengths that far exceed the size of the temple. They would actually have to fall on the other side of the temple. We cannot see how that type of ramp methods could work. So we have to consider that there may have been some other technology available. What it is a matter of question. But they would have to use lifting devices that we do not attribute to their epoch. Today, for example, if we'd have to lift blocks of that size, we'd need a specially designed gantry crane that would have to be fitted on rails, positioned for a specific job. Just to move one block would be a task that would take 6 or 7 weeks preparation, let alone in this confined area of the temples. So this is the difficulties that present itself with Giza. There is no reconciliation between what we see and the explanation, the conventional explanation that are given.
Could we duplicate it today?
I think there is no doubt that we could duplicate it, but with great difficulty, and we would need special equipment to do that. Again, for example, moving a 200 block today, there are no cranes readily available for that sort of work. We would have to commission a special crane for that special job and set it up in location, fit it on special tracks that are designed for this special purpose. So yes, we could. The question is we wouldn't, because it wouldn't make sense to use this size of blocks. One of the questions that is rarely asked is, why did they use such large size blocks to construct temples? There is a very annoying question that is rarely asked, because you can build temples. In fact, you should build temples with much smaller blocks. So that is the problem. We seem to see people who, for reasons that are inexplicable, made their work process extremely difficult and took it to a point where conventional explanation do not fit. So researchers who are bold in exploring this need to break through this convention and say, well, they must have had a technology. They must have had a technology that fitted. What it was is open to question.
Do you have an opinion on...
Wait a minute, would you like to take a drink of water? Why don't you help yourself there, just quick sip? Double check.
You don't want me to improvise at all, right?
Not until we get all the ones answered first. Okay, ready? Go ahead.
Do you have an opinion as to what